Hello, guys, and welcome back. And today I have a rock star with me. Well, he's not a musician if I talk about, he's a rock star of personality. And when I first met him, he was so humble enough to tell me that Avinash, these are the things you should be doing and focusing on that. And when I looked into his LinkedIn profile, I thought, why not bring him on my channel? Because if I talk about this is placement season going on, internship season is going on, placement season is going on. So why not bring someone who has the understanding of this world of LinkedIn? And he will be sharing his tips and obviously his whole expertise, like how he did with all great stuff on LinkedIn. So I have with me Akshat. And Akshat, first of all, let my audience know about you and what are you doing currently?
Thank you, Vinash. It's a pleasure to be on your podcast, and I'm just honored to be here. So, as you can see, my name is Akshat. I am a communication and public speaking coach. In last 3 years, I've spoken to people around the world and trained more than 7,000 professionals from some top companies. And that's what I do. I help people communicate with confidence, authenticity, and impact. I'm also a content creator on LinkedIn and recently got selected as one of the 200 content creators from India for LinkedIn Creator Accelerator program. That's it.
Okay, so you are a LinkedIn Creator Accelerator. You're part of it. Okay, that is amazing. Like I have actually an expert. I was not aware of this, but yes, that is a good news. Now, Akshat, I want to get started with this a very basic thing. When I was in college, the social network for us used to be Facebook. Then when I completed my college, it used to be Snapchat. Then it used to be Instagram. Nobody told me that Avinash, using Instagram, you can get a job or maybe get an internship. Then comes LinkedIn. LinkedIn obviously sounds as a professional network, but I want to understand what exactly LinkedIn is all about. It comes into the category of social network, but it sounds very different and it feels very different.
You're absolutely right, Avinash. So, when I started on LinkedIn, it was back in 2013 when I graduated from college. And LinkedIn used to be a job search platform that time that people came on LinkedIn only to search jobs and look for different opportunities. But if you see right now, LinkedIn is actually evolving into contemporary social media. There are creators, people posting videos, people doing different stuff. And if you look at it, it's actually a professional networking platform. And out of all the networking platforms that I have used, the few of which you mentioned, LinkedIn has the best possibilities for networking. Now, this is the reason because most people you'll find there are professionals. They're into some kind of jobs, some kind of business opportunities, or doing something. So it's a social network of professionals and companies.
Okay, so basically, you're trying to say that if I talk about in terms of LinkedIn, so it's more of I hope I'm audible.
Yes, you are.
Okay, yeah. So you're trying to say that it is a network. I mean, it's a professional network where I can reach out to people. But my question is, as a student, why should I be focusing on LinkedIn? Because for me, it's kind of a network. Again, fine. If I want to create a network, that is fine. But why should I be focusing on LinkedIn, especially when I'm in college right now?
Right. Good question, Avinash. Now, as a college student, of course, you must be focusing on your studies, but you must also be focusing on LinkedIn. I'll tell you why. If you see, as the digitization is happening, everything is going digital. What trend we've observed is that these hiring managers, people who are hiring in different companies, what they do is before they hire you, they go and check your social media platforms. They want to see what kind of content you're sharing, what kind of content you're engaging with. They want to see what kind of stories you put out. So it gives a glimpse of your personality and of who you are as a person. So that's why it's very important that on your social media platforms, you must be sharing good content. Now you can make LinkedIn, your Facebook and Instagram private. And that's where the LinkedIn comes into picture. This is a growing trend that most of hiring managers these days go through person's LinkedIn profile before they hire them. And that's why it's very important for you as a student to have a LinkedIn profile, which is updated and optimized because LinkedIn is your new resume.
Okay. Yeah. Now, Akshat, again, I have this, like, this is a very good point you have mentioned about the resume, because what happens usually, like when I interview a lot of people, students, if I talk about, they usually say, I don't have a resume. I have a digital copy of it. But when you say that, you can go search myself over LinkedIn and you'll get all the idea of it. That is totally fine. Now, my question is obviously you mentioned about like when you create content, so you get a lot of attention. Now, if I talk about in terms of content creation, if I want to become a professional content creator, that is fine for me. Okay, LinkedIn, I mean, I can create content on LinkedIn,
Right.
but my focus is getting a job. So how posting content on LinkedIn is going to be beneficial for me first, and secondly, I want to understand, like, if I have to do that, how consistently I should be doing that, and what type of content I should be posting.
Very good question again, Avinash. Now let's understand that everybody is not a content creator, and everybody does not want to be a content creator. Some people just want to use LinkedIn for a job, right? So like I said, LinkedIn is a networking platform where you find people. For example, you're looking for a job in, let's say you made a list of 5 companies, HCL, Microsoft, Google, and all that, right? If you have an optimized profile, if you're sharing some expertise, if you're showcasing some knowledge through content, it could be like, this is how I start my coding, or this is how I create my PHP programs, something like that, right?
Okay.
If you create some content around those things and share it on social media, and then you reach out to these people in different companies. So it's very easy on LinkedIn. You can put in companies, find out people who are working there, to reach out to them. You tell them about yourself. You build a rapport with them. And when you're posting out content, they're also noticing you. So what really happens is, if some vacancy comes in their company and they're looking for someone, the first thing they will think of you. Would you agree? The first thing is that they'll think of you. And that's where all of this comes into picture. It gives you attention, it gives you recognition, and in a way, you're building more relationships through it. So creating content is to showcase your expertise, it's to build your brand.
Okay. So the question, obviously, like, I think maybe we are missing, like, if we can make it in a simplified version of it. Okay, fine, I have to create content, but let's say if I'm a mechanical engineer, maybe I'm a computer science engineer, maybe an IT engineer, my expertise is coding. So what kind of a content I can post on LinkedIn so that it can get the eyeballs which I'm actually looking for?
So I think creating content is directly the 4th or the 5th step for a student, right?
Okay.
First thing a student must start with is optimizing their profile, keeping it updated.
Okay.
So I think we're directly jumping to the final question that you must be asking. Creating content is the last step.
Okay.
It always starts, especially for a student or for anybody, it always starts with having an optimized profile, right? So having an optimized profile, having an updated profile, and then comes the picture of networking. You're connecting with the people you want to work with. You're finding out people, networking with them, right? Let's say I want to work with a particular company, for example, Microsoft. What I did is I found out HRs of Microsoft, somehow connected with them on LinkedIn. Now I am sharing my expertise through content. Like you mentioned, what can students share?
Yeah.
I'll tell you what I used to share when I was a student. Right now, that time I was not creating content, of course, but I shared the certificates I got.
Okay.
I shared, if I participated in a hackathon, I shared that on social media. That this is what I did. I shared my experiences. Right? If there was a presentation that I delivered, I clicked the picture and shared it on LinkedIn, writing 2 lines that delivered a presentation on my BTech project. So what I'm doing is I'm showcasing that I am doing something. It's just like documenting your career. I think that is what students can start with.
Okay. So basically sharing whatever you're doing in your life. So, like, technically you're showcasing that you're a kind of a student who is not sitting idle. You're
Absolutely.
Yes, you are actually doing something. Now, you mentioned a very good point that your profile should be optimized. Now, as a LinkedIn, I mean, as a student, what I feel is that I'll just go there, I'll put in my details, I put in my college name, I'll put in my, my photo if I talk about, that is it. Again, I don't know, like, that's what I feel, that it's a optimized profile. But is there something more to that, or like that is it?
There are very subtle things, Avinash, in optimizing a profile. For example, I've seen so many student profiles. Half of them have pictures that are very casual. Someone is wearing sunglasses, standing like this, like the Akshat Kumar of Hera Fairy. See, all of these things does not make you look credible as a person, right? There are certain standards that you need to have. For example, your display picture should be a close picture of your face, an edged image with a plain background, right? This is a very subtle thing that makes you look like a professional. Having an optimized bio, right? Telling who you are, where you come from, what are your aspirations, what are your ambitions, what is it that you like doing. Having the right tagline, because just when someone clicks on your display picture, the first thing they see is your tagline.
Okay.
The tagline, right? You can directly write that student at Amity University. Or you can write it in more creatively. Right? You can write it more creatively. How can you write more creatively? That for example, I'm a BTech student, right? I can write BTech student at Amity University, learning PHP for helping companies build better websites.
Okay.
Something like that, right? So that you're showcasing your skills through your tagline. So optimizing just does not mean putting in the details, writing in the best possible way so that it grabs the other person's attention. That's what optimizing is.
Okay, so you did mention about the certification part, and you did mention about whatever you're doing. So I believe, like obviously, LinkedIn has the part of various skill sets. If I talk about, and it also has an option of endorsement. So what is the advantage you'll get when you give the endorsement or when you receive the endorsement? Like, does it actually hold a value on LinkedIn?
Honestly, I don't think it holds much of the value because most of the people fake it. They just get their friends, they just get it from here and there. So I don't see it as much of the value. But if you look at it from a person, because I understand LinkedIn, I know how things work. I know what kind of fake things happen there, what kind of good things happen there. But if you look at it from a general person's perspective, endorsements may help, right? For example, if you've worked on a BTech project, you've worked with 4 people on this particular project, right? Now, after you've delivered your project, you can ask those 3 people to give you endorsements and you can endorse them as well, if you see skills in each other.
Okay.
But that's not how it usually works. A lot of people do it just for the namesake.
Okay.
So if you ask me personally, I don't see much value in endorsements.
Okay. Now, I want to understand one thing. Like, obviously, when we talk about resumes, people say you should not do that. You should not do that. You should avoid this. You should, don't do this kind of a stuff. If I talk about now, right. I'm a student who is right now looking for an internship. If I talk about, or maybe a job. Now, what are the mistakes I should be avoiding so that if a person is trying to look into me, he found that, okay, maybe you're a right person, but I made this mistake, and that is why they thought, okay, maybe you're not the right person for us. We should look for the different person. So what are the mistakes I should be avoiding in my LinkedIn profile?
I think this is too contextual because you don't know what the other person is looking for. So it depends on what they are looking for.
I would say beginner mistakes. I would say, like, obviously, if I'm not talking about the professional mistakes, but a beginner level mistakes students which make.
So first 3 things that you need to take care of. The first 3 basic things that everybody needs to take care as a beginner. First thing is, again, having an updated profile. So not having an updated profile is the biggest mistake that anybody can do. Not having a profile is the biggest mistake. But the second biggest mistake is not having an updated profile. So what really happens is, I know a lot of times when I was not actively looking for jobs, but my profile was updated, people reached out to me that actually they're looking for someone with these skills. Do you know someone, or are you available? If you have an updated profile, it's like having an updated profile in the marketplace.
Okay.
Right? It's like your virtual catalog. For example, if you run a bakery and you have a big hoarding out in the market, people will see it and they will commit, whether you want customers or you don't want it.
Okay.
So that's why the first thing is having an updated profile. Anytime you did something, update it there. Anytime you finish a certification, update it there. You got some license, update it there. Having an updated profile, not having an updated profile is the first mistake that people need to avoid. Okay. Second thing is not spending a lot of time on LinkedIn. So I've seen a lot of people who just go out and update their profile and then never visit LinkedIn again for years or for months. Now, what I've personally seen is that when I personally spend a lot of time on LinkedIn, I learn so much. I learn about what the industry trends are, what is going on in the market right now. So it gives you a lot of updates on what's actually going on in the market. So if you're updated with what's going on in the market, right, especially in tier 2, tier 3 cities, right, we don't get a lot of exposure. We sometimes don't even know what's happening out there. So if you spend a lot of time on LinkedIn, you will know what people are looking for. Okay. So that's a second mistake to avoid, not spending time on LinkedIn. And the final mistake is not networking with people. So a lot of times, even if you updated your profile, you will spend a lot of time on LinkedIn. But if you sit there silently observing, nothing would happen. You might get some jobs. People might reach out to you. But to network means to go and engage with themselves. Let's say you are someone who works on Java. Okay. Now you need to find people who work in Java. connect with them.
Okay.
People in companies who are working on the similar domain as you, because those are the ones who can refer you in those companies. Go and network with them. Engage with their comment. Reply to their comments. Reply to their content. Put comments on their content. Just send them a message. Ask them how they are doing. How is their company culture at that company? Ask
Okay.
for this.
Okay, got it. So basically, like, just not just having a LinkedIn profile is not sufficient. Like, you have to engage with the people. You should be actually quite active on LinkedIn. Obviously, uploading all the achievements and whatever your stuff doing so that it helps out. Now, you made a very important point about networking. If I talk about, so I want to understand from the perspective here. Like, if I talk about in terms of LinkedIn, how can I actually efficiently network to get myself a job? Because right now that is fine. Like, if I'm a businessman, I want a business partnership. That is one thing. I'm a student right now. Maybe I'm looking for an internship, or maybe I'm looking for a job. So what things would you suggest that will help me to actually get, I mean, make a better network so that I can actually land an internship or a job?
Very good question again, Avinash. Now, again, there is no fixed rule.
Okay.
Right? When you spend enough time on LinkedIn, you find out what works. Few things that work for me. Okay. So let's say I want to connect with one particular person. Now, this guy already has like 30,000 followers, or he's already a big guy in some multinational company. Even if he has like 500 followers, but he has like, he's, let's say, CEO of a new startup. Okay. Now, I think that there might be a vacancy in that person's company. Okay. What I do is I go and engage with them. I do not send them connect requests directly. What a lot of students do, especially, is they go and send connect requests directly without any purpose.
Okay.
So people don't even accept it. Like, I get at least 100 connection requests every week. Now, if I go and spend all my time looking at everybody who has sent connect requests to me, half of my time would go there. So the best way is to first engage with the content if they're putting out content, which most of CEOs and business leaders, especially people, if they are a business leader in a startup, most people are putting out content, because business leaders understand every business leader is building their personal brand on LinkedIn, right? So it's very important to go and engage with their content. If they have commented somewhere, you go and reply to that comment. Now, what really happens is that person starts to remember you. For example, I go and comment somewhere, and then I see Avinash coming and telling, "Oh yes, Akshat, you're right." Just one sentence. I would remember it. Let's say this happened 2-3 times. Your name would immediately strike me. Now, if I send you a connect request with a personalized message that, "Hey Akshat, I saw your profile, you've been doing this, like it," something like that, I will have a better recollection of who you are and better chances of me accepting. And then when you send me a message asking something, asking for advice or asking for something, I might respond to you more positive. Would you agree?
Yeah.
So networking takes a lot of effort.
Okay. So basically, you're trying to say is that it is recommended that you first engage with the persons and like whatever content they are creating instead of sending them a request. Now, I'll want to add one point regarding this, because what happens when you receive when you receive a request, a person is looking into it like, why do they want to join? Obviously, if they cannot remember or maybe recall your name, that is going to be very difficult. Now, you mentioned one thing which it actually clicked my mind right now, like personalized message. So, okay, fine. So I have engaged with the person and we have a very good repo, at least on LinkedIn. Now, when you talk about the personalized message, this is something where students missing out. Like, I have received so many requests where they are saying, I need a job. Now, that is, I understand you need a job right now, but I don't understand like what is your expertise, what is your skill set, why should we hire, or maybe something like this. So what kind of, like, if you talk about the personalized message, so what should be the tone of that message? What should I include in this message? Because obviously this particular thing may get you a job, internship, or it may actually get you rejected altogether.
Right. Avinash, let me ask you a counter question here first. When I say networking, what do you mean by it?
See, networking is basically connecting with people and technically helping them out. So, like, let's say if someone is facing a challenge, so I'm going there. I'm going to say, hey, I have this kind of an expertise. Why don't you use my expertise or use my skill set to actually solve a problem? Then, obviously, when he'll find it, okay, Avinash, you help me. Then maybe he'll reach me out. Avinash, do you need any help? And let me help you out. So, this is what I've understood and what I've learned throughout my business life.
Right. So, networking is about building relationships.
Okay.
Right? Building relationships with people is networking. So imagine if I send someone and directly say, I want a job. Right? Now, I am getting into that relationship as a beggar. I'm asking for something. Would that relationship work out if someone came to you and directly said, I want this from you? Would that relationship work? It will not, right? So I'll tell you one of the instances that happened with me. So there was this graphics designer that wanted to reach out to me. What this guy did is that he took one of my content, designed it beautifully, would have spent at least half an hour on it, designed a beautiful carousel, emailed it to me, and then messaged me that, Akshat, I've sent you something, please check it out. When I saw it, and I saw how beautifully he created that carousel for me. And then he said, if you know someone, you can refer me somewhere for a job, that would be very helpful as a graphics designer. And I found that such a smart way to connect. He first added value to me in some way. He showcased his expertise. Let's say, forget about adding value. He showcased his expertise. And then he asked me to refer him somewhere for a job. Now, I knew that if I refer this guy, he's not going to screw that. Because he is competent, right? A lot of times what happens is when people reach out for jobs, they just say, I need a job. Why will someone get you a job? Have something to showcase your expertise. Right? Does that make sense, Avinash?
Yes, obviously it is making sense. I just I realized one thing which you mentioned, a very good point. Like when you're trying to make a relationship with a person, if you're going to start it at a begging level, obviously that is not going to work out for you, at least throughout your relationship, because the other person is thinking, okay, you need me right now. So obviously as a student, I would say that is a bad way of starting. And again, I understand as a student, like obviously you don't have a lot of things to offer, but yes, the example which you gave me, like instead of asking for a job, he designed a poster of you, a graphic of yours, and then sent you. And he did not ask you that, hey, I need a job from you. He said that I can, do you know someone who is hiring? So maybe they can, like they gave you the sample of it. So that is a very good, and I would say sort of a subtle, or I would say a smart way of reaching out to a person and saying this. Now, the point here is obviously the personalization. So what he did, he designed your graphics. So obviously you felt it, okay, wow, he has done something for me. And obviously he's not asking anything in return. Like obviously you may reject his message, but this is what I would recommend to students. Like if you're watching here, is the message of personalization does not mean that you have to, reach out and just say that I need this. It simply means like what you can offer to the other person, which they may not have, or maybe they need that. Now, obviously, at a student level, also, I understand that you cannot be expert into that. So obviously, this is, you should keep it very simple. You should not actually drill deeper into that. Now, Akshay, I have another question for you, which is very important. So basically what is happening these days, a lot of people are doing something which is known as copying and pasting. A lot of students do this. This is maybe a bad point of LinkedIn, I could say. So a lot of people are doing one thing is like they are reaching, they are just looking at the content, whatever content is getting engaged, they're just simply copying and pasting. So does it impact your reputation if I talk about as a student right now, maybe as a individual if I talk about? Because again, copying and pasting is not illegal, I would say. But again, I feel that if I've already engaged with the content and again that is there, I feel like, okay, this is something which I'm not used to. So does it actually impact my profile?
Why do you think people are copying and pasting and not writing original content?
They want to do, they want to gain more followers quickly, and they don't want to actually put in the effort, what I feel.
So when someone copies and pastes or takes someone else's content, what they're essentially saying is that I can't make content.
Okay.
Right. And when they're subconsciously saying that I can't make content, do you think it would affect their reputation?
So obviously. So you have answered it very smartly. So as a student, I would recommend, a lot of students do this habit of copying and pasting. Do not do that, obviously, for a very simple reason. Like, obviously, people are intelligent. Nobody is a fool right now, and they cannot understand this. It's very simple. So do not copy and paste the content. Now, Akshat, I want to understand from your perspective, like, obviously you are part of this LinkedIn game from probably 8 to 7 years, or maybe more than that. So you must have seen, like, or maybe you have also personally made those kind of mistakes. Okay, this is something I should not have done this, or maybe what. So what are those tips I would say that you will say that, okay, this is what you should be avoiding on LinkedIn, this is not you should be doing on LinkedIn, or maybe things which you have seen, okay, this person is doing, this is wrong, and you should not be doing that. And because right now,
I think we've covered a lot of it already. Please complete.
Okay.
You were saying something.
So I was trying to say is, like, obviously as a student, if I talk about, so I'm not aware of these mistakes, because I'll go to LinkedIn and I'll say, okay, I should do this, I should do this, I should do this, I should do this. So obviously in this kind of a scenario, I'll be making those kind of a mistake. So as a student, what things I should be avoiding there?
I think the most important thing as a student one needs to remember is that it's okay to make mistakes. Go and make as many mistakes as possible. Because only when you go and make mistakes, that's when you'll be learning. What really happens is a lot of people don't get started on LinkedIn is because they don't want to make a mistake. They don't want to be seen as someone who is incompetent or someone who is just starting out, right? But just go there and be who you are. If you're making a mistake, you'll eventually learn. I have made like hundreds of mistakes, right? Don't avoid mistakes. Make them.
Okay.
Because if you make them, you'll do something. If you're afraid of making mistakes, I might tell you 7 mistakes to avoid, but they will be 8, 9, 10. And when you make those mistakes, that will stop you from doing it even more. Let's say you put out a content and someone thrashed you like anything. You would get scared and you wouldn't want to go out again. So go and make mistakes. That's okay.
Okay, great. Now, Akshat, in the starting of the video, you did mention that you are part of LinkedIn Accelerator program. Now, obviously, like if I talk about as a student, like if I can get this kind of an achievement, that is going to be great. So, I mean, as a student, what should I be focusing on? Because obviously LinkedIn Accelerator is going to give me a huge highlight. Obviously, there is a good promotion which happens. So as a student, if I can be this LinkedIn creator accelerator, again, I'm sorry if I'm mispronouncing his name. So what are these steps I can take to actually become a accelerator? I can be a part of accelerator program next year. Maybe I've missed the line, maybe I've missed it this year, but what can I do for the next year? Because obviously, if that happens for me, I'll get a good limelight, and obviously for me, it is going to give an advantage for my career.
Very good question again, Avinash. A lot of people have asked me this question recently, that how can I be the part of this program next year? Now, just one thing. Spend at least 30 minutes on LinkedIn every single day.
Okay.
From now on to next year. Even if you spend 15 minutes a day, every single day, you will automatically know what needs to be done. How you would know? When you spend time, you'll observe people. You'll be observing what. So let's say I'm someone new on LinkedIn. What I'll do, I'll first observe how they have optimized their profile, what kind of titles they put, what kind of pictures have they put, what kind of content they have done. If I just spend time, I'm subconsciously learning. If I just spend time, I'm subconsciously learning, and then if you know something, how it needs to be done, you go and experiment with your own profile.
Okay.
Just spend time on LinkedIn and you will know in 1 year what needs to be done.
Okay. But again, I don't want to make a guesswork right now. So if you can give us like sort of a short step-by-step process, like obviously spending time on LinkedIn is fine. But apart from that, do I have to do anything extra? Do I have to understand or maybe like start doing something related to that as well?
Okay. Start with again optimizing your profile. Update your profile, optimize your profile. Second thing is go and engage with other people's content. Go and comment on their content. Right? If someone is talking about something that's interesting to you, go and comment there, talk to them. Number 3, connect with people purposefully, not random. If you find that this person is something I want to connect with, engage with them, connect with them. Go on networking calls, right? What I usually do is every 2 weeks or so, I go with 1 or 2 people on a 1-to-1 networking, 20-minute networking call. Just going on a video call, talking to them, understanding what they do, telling them what I do. That's it. No agenda, nothing.
Okay.
go networking calls, get to know people, build relationships. Then comes showcasing your own content, what you know, what you've learned. Now, as a student, you are not an expert on something, you are learning. You can always say, today I spent 30 minutes creating this particular program. Tell me how it is. You don't have to be an expert. You just have to be there. You can document your career. You can document your journey as a student. Right? Share a video of you presenting a project to your friend. Share a short insight. Write something. Spend some time learning how to speak on videos. Spend some time learning how to write engaging content. Because no matter what you do, to build a personal brand, you need to learn how to speak and write. No matter what you do, even if you're an engineer or anything, you want to build a personal brand, build a reputation in the market, person needs to know how to speak and write. Very basic skills. These are the few things that can be done over the next 1 year. Just keep working on yourself, keep working on your profile. And if it has to happen, you will be in the creator program next year. If not next year, then next year.
Okay, so basically, like it's all about learning about the platform, and again, like what I'm able to understand from your side is obviously LinkedIn Creator Program is not about how you can provide benefits to LinkedIn, but how you can take benefits out of LinkedIn. So like obviously, if you're going to do this, like if you're going to spend 15 minutes a day, you're going to network with people, you're going to engage with people, you're going to post about you, what you're doing, and the like maybe a built a project kind of a thing. So even if you don't become a LinkedIn creator, you will ultimately learn into an internship or a job, because they will see the level of consistency you have, the level of I would say the creativity which you have, or I would say critical way of doing things that you have. It's obviously like that is going to get an advantage. So obviously I would recommend to students, like even if you're not planning to become a LinkedIn creator, it is better that you follow these steps which Akshat has told us, because obviously it may help us become a creator. Again, that is something maybe your secondary goal, or maybe not in your horizon, but obviously that is going to ultimately help you realize, I mean, get your dream thing. Like if your intention is to get an internship, or if your intention is to get a job, that is something that is going to help you out. So Akshat, it is going great. Any final things you would like to add in this particular video, which student must know, or maybe you have learned from throughout your career?
There are too many things that I've learned. I think I've covered most of them. Okay. One thing that I would like to cover one more time, I think I've reiterated it. I'm just going to reiterate it. The first thing is, don't worry about making mistakes. Of course, go spend time on LinkedIn, make mistakes, do all the mistakes possible. That's okay. Okay. Second thing, do a lot of trial and error. Okay. Landing a job is about trial and error. You send your resume to 15 people, 5 of them come back to you, 3 of them give you an interview, you get selected 2 places. It's a number game. Okay. Right? Especially at the start of your career, it's just a number game. So what you need to do is connect with as many people as possible, pitch as many people as possible. Don't get disheartened. And just keep doing, just keep sending. If you want an internship, don't tell them that I need a job. Tell them I'm skilled in this, I know how to do this. Do you have an internship opportunity? I would love to contribute to your startup. Tell them how you can add value to them. They might be very big, they might be gods, but you still need to tell them how can you add value. Don't think that I'm such a small guy. How will I be able to add value to their life? Anyone can add value to anyone's life. As simple as that. Okay, so in short, you should not be scared. Okay, that's great. The key to life. Okay, amazing. So guys, I will be like obviously if you want to reach out to Akshat, I will be pasting his LinkedIn profile. So obviously go there and learn from him, because obviously he has put all his efforts to make his profile optimized. So go there and reach him out. And obviously if you need any help from him, obviously reach him out over LinkedIn. And I mean, don't just spam him, and don't just say that I saw your video and I need a job. Go there, create a video out of it, or maybe something related to that which may impress him. And he has actually told us like how he would receive a job application. So that is something great. So thank you, Akshat. It was great. Akshat. Thank you, Akshat. So it was great connecting with you, and hopefully students will learn something out of it.
And if you got an internship or a job through this video, please let us know in the comment and make him or me happy so that we'll keep the work continue. Thank you guys, and we'll see you in the next one.
Thank you, Avinash. It was lovely being here with you.